there's plenty of hot babes that are actually dudes.
It's unrelenting, it's unrelenting. Just when you thought we were going to relent, it's unrelenting.
Hello, everybody, as you join your edition of Unrelenting already in progress. Gene is halfway through a Caesar salad. It's early in the day. It's Friday.
Yep.
People rely on us to know it's time for the weekend.
We do kick off the weekend.
It's like a party.
Like a party.
You never know what you're going to get. We're like a box of chocolates, or we're like a party here. And just glad to have power and internet. The latest was this morning, right after the wife left. Ding dong, ding dong. I'm like, what, she forget something? It was a dude from Comcast, like, we're putting a new box in your backyard. So we're going to be digging. And like, anything going to go out? He's like, no, not today. We're just getting everything ready for the replacement box, which it just happens to be in our backyard. I'm like, that's fine.
So they're putting fiber in?
They are in the neighborhood, but that's not Comcast. Those guys are calling me too. Like, we're ready for like an early October install. So I will have fiber hopefully by October. And I'm hoping for, at the very least, it'll be 1 gig up and down. And if I get the right deal, it might be 2 or 5 just to try it out. If I can get like 5 gig up and down for the same price I'm paying for Comcast, I know I could go cheaper, but I want to see what it's like to upload a complete podcast file in a second.
Less than a minute. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Like, boom, it's just up. Then I can start doing videos, man. High def videos.
Yeah, man.
You can upload them so fast. You can make them so fast with the AI. But we've been having the Texas kind of weather here. My goodness, it missed us. Luckily, right in our little hamlet. Yeah, both times. I mean, we got rain, but the area is going through I think the highest number I saw from ComEd, which is the power company here, was about 800,000 customers out.
Oh, my God.
I know. The whole Chicago area, especially Cook County, which is just north of us, that's where Chirac is. That's where my parents are. That was hit the hardest. And their power went out yesterday at about 4:00. And they're estimating, actually, I'm saying yesterday, but it was Wednesday, 4:00. And they're estimating Saturday at 6 p.m. that it'll be back.
Oh, my God. What's the weather been like?
80s, 90s, which is, and humid, of course, because, big storms going through. It's cooled down a little today. It's only 67 right now. So, but they're over at my sister's house. She's got power. We've got power. They have a nice neighbor.
67, you could deal with a few days of no power at 67, but not in the 90s. You can't.
No, and then, of course, you got all the food in the freezer. Luckily, they have a brand new neighbor who's like, well, I've got a generator if you want to plug in your sump pump in the free, because they just we're doing the refrigerator. And I'm like, what's a little more important before the next round of storms come in?
Right. Good point.
Otherwise, you're going to be spending a lot of money on a flooded lower level. So we'll see how long that takes for the power.
Now, do you know anybody that can tell them what that's like?
Yeah. What it's like. And now, see, ours at least was a full basement. So theirs maybe isn't as bad because it's a half a level up from that.
They got windows. Yeah.
But it still would not be fun. And they got, I guess it was so bad. The neighbor right across from my mom had a tree hit the roof, which is no good. And then they had a tree service out, and there was so many trees and stuff in my mom's backyard that and I don't know if the company's gouging people or not. I didn't see any pictures of it yet, but they charge like $600 to clean all the.
Oh my God.
So, I mean, it got pretty well hammered, and then it came through again yesterday after they left. So it's like, oh my, I would have waited a day for everything to get a clean up on the, because it was basically a carbon copy both days of just massive storms. And my mom had to go for a biopsy. So my sister drove her, and I'm watching them on the, the little tracking app. And I'm trying to like text her, like, stay at mom's. And she missed that and started driving back to work. And literally, I had max velocity on because that's who Mimi Dvorak says to watch. And max velocity is like, oh, looks like we've got some rotation here in Palos Hills over this particular intersection. And that's exactly where my sister works. And I'm like, do not go to work right now.
Jesus Christ. Wow.
And that's what ended up hitting my mom's and dad's house and then moving on. This was when it was south by us. It was a little bit north, but they were measuring the wind gusts at 100 miles an hour.
Okay, that definitely is Texas. Well, that's like, yeah, Texas, Kansas City.
That is serious wind. We don't normally get that.
No.
Never have we had something like this in my lifetime where the power went out and they're like, yeah, see you in like 4 or 5 days. Usually everything's back within a couple of hours, maybe a day. But this is a little bit different. And then when you go, it was hilarious. Anybody wants to have fun, just go look at the comments that were being spewed towards ComEd. That they're racist, they're not coming to the south side, everything sucks. And then you're looking at the outage map, and you basically had 100-mile-an-hour winds go through that knock down trees. Most of the power in this area is carried above ground on poles.
Oh, okay.
You see? And when trees are flying around like they're nothing, there's a lot of power that was out. Ours is underground because we don't have out in this little suburb here. So I guess we're lucky because our power didn't go out on Wednesday. And yesterday it was horrible. I was very inconvenienced, Sheen. The power went out for a good 3 or 4 seconds.
Oh my God.
I know. I was like, what am I going to do?
I hate it when that happens. Yeah.
I mean,
would you have UPSs so your monitor didn't have to turn off?
Correct. The only thing that now upstairs, I'm like, oh, okay, the coffee machine, oh man, the clock is wrong on the microwave. This is horrible. The humanity of it all. But I had from Wednesday, I put the old humidifier that I have down in the basement. So I was running 2 dehumidifiers in the basement.
Yes. Yeah, not a humidifier.
Yes, we need more humidity in the air. But I knew it was going to be one of them because I keep it fairly cold in the house. And on the level where I'm at now, which is a half up from the basement, it was still hitting 51% humidity, even at like 60-something degrees. I know. Again, first world problems, but that tells you that there's so much humidity in the air that if you're going to get storms, it's going to be impressive. And it was.
I actually have to run a humidifier here in the summer.
That's horrible in the summer.
Well, summer, I mean, winter you can expect it, but also in the summer because Austin doesn't get the high humidity, and I need to keep the snakes at least 30% humidity.
It's a dry heat out by you.
Yeah. And it is definitely heat. No 2 ways about it. But, feeling wise, it's nothing like being in Houston where the humidity is like 70% year round.
So it's swampy in Houston, but nice in Austin, which is why all the rich people go to Austin.
Well, there are rich people in Houston, but they're on the north side, the further away from the water they can get.
Makes sense. The more you learn.
Yeah. Or on the water, which cools you off.
So I was like, wow, no power out here. That's good. Wanted just sitting there watching. Didn't even have to like, oh, no. I mean, the sirens were going off, but it was never a tornado alert. Because I was watching Max Velocity, man.
I've never seen that. What is that?
He's on YouTube. He just hit last night during his live stream 2 million subscribers to the channel. I'm like, how did I not know that
so
there was
like a
money?
Small gaming channel?
You're right. How did I? This guy just talks about weather when it pops up. He does like a daily forecast, which is like a 10-minute, 15-minute video, and then goes live. Like last night, he was live for like 10 hours because he has
so it's
all
like
these
a weather channel on YouTube.
Yes.
Okay.
But he's got like 50 or maybe more of these storm chasers. And I'm guessing he's got like deals with all of them so he can show their live feeds. This is the biggest difference between watching these storms or when there were storms when we were younger and now is you couldn't get a live feed. Now people are like out there like 50. I mean, some of these is hilarious. And it's like a caravan of like 100 chasers just trying to get pictures of these storms. You know, this isn't like one or two people out there doing this anymore. This is huge business.
What's the closest you've been to a tornado?
Not close. I mean, I would say a few miles away. And I've never seen one as far as like, oh, wow, look over there, a tornado. Why have you ridden
I've been pretty close a few times. Not by choice, but there's one that started forming literally probably about 4 blocks away from my parents' house. And all the neighbors were standing outside watching this thing form.
Wait, this is
what are you going to do about it? Yeah.
Minnesota
suburbs,
area.
The suburbs.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's a standard. Like, tornado season is a yearly thing out there. And it's more rare to get heavy rain, but tornadoes come through all the time. And so that was probably, I think, 3 or 4 blocks is about the closest. But I've driven past them in Minnesota dozens of times. And what I mean by driven is probably 4 or 5 miles away where I'm going somewhere and I happen to notice, oh, there's a tornado on the left side. I mean, it's you just kind of get used to it. And as a kid, I volunteered and helped clean up houses quite a bit from when tornadoes pass through. There's one that passed about, I'd say, 8 or 9 blocks away from where we were living back in the early 80s. That just, when it passes through a neighborhood and not in the country, it's hard to tell because it mostly goes between a barn and a trailer park.
Right.
But in the city where you're lacking both of those, it pretty much draws like a semicircular line. It's rarely a straight one, but it's a slight circular line where there's nothing. Like there used to be houses and trees.
Right.
There's no houses and trees anymore at all.
Oh, yeah. They were showing drone footage from a town, maybe a half hour, 40 minutes from here yesterday, Streeter, Illinois. And the same thing. I mean, there was a cul-de-sac where there were no houses anymore.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, this stuff is serious. I mean, a lot of people are just like, it's just a little rain. It's like, nope.
No. Tropical storms that all the East Coasters bitch about are nothing compared to a tornado. You have like 5 days warning. The winds slowly get faster and faster. Then you go through the eye where everything dies down and it's sunny. And then they get faster again and then the thing dissipates. No. Tornado forms in literally about 5 minutes. And you can see clouds moving in 2 or 3 different directions at the same time. You're like, oh, shit.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like you can
go
see
in
the rotation.
Opposite direction.
Yeah. When you see the rotation, you don't want to be around it.
And a lot of times, like when you're a kid on riding a bike, which kids these days don't do, they're all playing video games, or iPadding. But back in our day, kids rode bikes and you're like, can I paddle fast enough to get away from this thing? No,
you cannot. The guys on the cars and stuff are nuts, but yeah, if you're riding your Huffy down the street, you're going to have a little bit of a problem. Like, get on the ground.
Well, it's about what, remember now, I'm the guy that decided to go shoot lightning strikes on camera, big time photographer when I was a teenager, by going on top of a hill and putting up a tripod and with a camera on top to take pictures of lightning.
Well, now usually with that,
you can see that might be problematic with that scenario.
I mean, hopefully you're far enough away from the lightning, but if you're in the storm, then yes, you don't want to hold up tripods or golf clubs while you're having lightning strikes.
When you're looking around, you realize you're the tallest thing for 5 miles around you.
Is that a problem? And for you, that never happens, though. So to be fair,
that never happened. Now, for you, that might be a daily occurrence,
right? Gene's
for
like,
me,
is that cow
so
taller than me? Maybe.
Cows get tall, man. Have you seen those cows in the Midwest?
Yeah, there are a few.
There's their hips go up to your shoulders.
There's a lot of them, man. They're big.
Mm-hmm.
They are big. It was weathering. They get out in the weather and they just kind of like, I don't care.
There's a lot of grass to eat out there.
That's true.
Well, Southern Illinois is the same way.
That is true. And it's like that was one of the interesting things was you talking about people just standing outside watching these things starting to form. This was, you could tell it was getting on this dude, Max Velocity's nerves yesterday because he was calling via his equipment. And I don't know who he rents this shit from, where he gets all the scans because he has multiple radar scans and, they have cameras as well in various places with the spotters. But he's like, this is a tornado. I don't know why this isn't even warned yet. And there were like 5 of them yesterday that he was calling before the National Weather Service. He's like, this is a tornado on the ground and there's no warning even in the area yet. It's like, so you can't trust that siren's going to go off in your neighborhood. Before the tornado gets you. You just have to know what's coming. I mean, I've never heard, like I said, I've never been close enough to one, but people that have, when you hear them, the sound they say is actually the thing that surprises you the most.
It's a sound and a smell.
What does it smell like?
Yep.
Death? Dirt. I guess it's picking up dirt, throwing it in the air.
You start smelling kind of a earthy smell. And it's a different smell than you get from lightning. Lightning has a distinct smell as well.
Yeah, that ozone.
Yeah. It's a lot of ozone with the lightning, but the tornado, like, even when you don't feel the wind, all of a sudden you start smelling kind of an earthy smell. Like, what the hell?
There's earth in the air. No bueno. Yeah. I'm glad I've never seen a tornado. I mean, that's, because at least if you do, you want it to be going in the other direction.
Right.
But some of these, I mean, these storm chasers that I've seen the videos of, some of these things are absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Like, this is nature, ladies and gentlemen. You think that you can build all these strong buildings, and a few of these were going into like downtown Chicago. And I know those things are strong, but they were having windows blowing out of skyscrapers. My favorite was the video of a rooftop, because a lot of people have their little rooftop gardens and stuff. They're like tables and chairs flying off of roofs into the street. Like, whoa, look up.
There was a tornado that went through Fort Worth about 15 years ago or so. And it knocked out a bunch of windows in the high rises out there.
You have to be weather aware.
Yeah, for sure. Water can do way more damage than the air, but the air can certainly do damage.
Yes. Well, yeah, the air is going to usually be a smaller swath of issue, knocking houses down and stuff. Now, floods, there's really...
They'll just take a house and pick it up and wash it away.
Yeah, there's nothing you can
right
do.
Off its foundation.
Right.
Yeah.
So for a tornado, they're like, go down into the middle of the house on the lowest level in a flood. That's not where you want to be.
No.
You just want to get out of the area.
Unless you get a stilt house.
Or if you have a helicopter, just take off, get out of there.
Yeah, well, that's always handy to have just in case.
Gene has the chopper on the roof of the mansion there. And
No. I don't have a chopper on the roof. Come on.
Oh, I'm
Don't
sorry.
Be spreading lies.
It's in the subterranean garage that you have to push a button to rise it out.
Inside the volcano.
Right. Exactly. Dude, I mean...
The only volcano in Austin is actually fake.
I believe it. I've always been enamored by the idea of like a subterranean dwelling. I've seen the ones like the people that redo the silos that were for the... for the big nukes, because you already have a big hole in the ground. But I always thought that would be the perfect thing, especially somebody like me who enjoys the temperature at like 65 degrees.
As long as you're not claustrophobic.
Yes, I'm not.
It's totally good. There was a bar and dance club in St. Paul that was, I think it was called the Underground, but it was built in caves along the shore of the Mississippi. And it's a fascinating place because it was built in the caves that were used during Prohibition by the mob for storing liquor, and they had a speakeasy out there. And there's like some bullet holes in the walls from Bugsy Malone days, and it was a very cool place. But it was, literally like a cave system, sandstone caves out along the Mississippi. And these caves originally were, I think, probably sort of naturally formed, but weren't very big. And then they were further excavated by the Sioux that used to live out there. And they were probably used as, safety living kind of locations. And then they were used by I want to say it was in the turn of the 19th to 20th century, somebody bought a large number of these caves to grow mushrooms.
Oh, psychedelic mushrooms?
No, like the ones you buy at a grocery store, because they have the right climate environment. It's pretty easy to do out there. And then the mob used them during the Prohibition, and then finally they were used as a munitions housing during World War II.
That makes sense.
So a lot of history in these caves. Very, very interesting places. And like I said, they have been dug out further. They're not just like natural caves that were taken over. They started off as fairly small caves and then further dug out. But there was this giant dance floor out there and the big long bar. It was a really cool place. Watched a lot of swing music acts go through there.
Big bad voodoo daddy.
Yeah. Exactly.
The cherry popping daddies. There's a lot of daddy in the swing.
There's a lot of daddy in swing. That's true. Daddy-o.
Daddy-o. Bum, 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 bum. That's good stuff, though.
It is good stuff. I was the right age during that whole revival movement to really be a good part of it. So it's all kind of started with the movie Swingers.
Yes. Well, yeah, and it was interesting, Cherry Poppin' Daddies. They came out with an album that was very swing, and then you looked into what they had been doing before, and it wasn't really swing. It's like, oh, wait, you just kind of jumped on the bandwagon.
A lot of people did. Yeah.
Well,
all of a sudden, there was a ton of bands playing swing.
If you had horns in the band.
Yeah. Well, if you don't, you get horns.
True.
There was, for a while there, during the mid to late 90s, like 97, 98, 99, there was a live swing band playing 7 days a week in Minneapolis. Like there was touring bands going through every single day of the week. It was kind of a big rotation. In fact, this is when I used to go to Prince's place a lot. Not Paisley Park, the other one. The what the hell's it called? Memory's starting to go.
B12. B12.
Yeah, exactly.
Get Gene some B12 quick.
It is Glam Slam. Used to go to Glam Slam all the time. And they were a huge venue for all the out-of-town swing bands. A lot of bands came through there because they had a massive dance floor and a good-sized stage, bigger than a lot of the other clubs in Minneapolis.
Which when you got 18 horns in the band, it's good.
Oh, yeah. And I was doing a lot of photography back then. So I was doing, I was getting into all these places for free and then shooting the bands that were playing. I wonder if I still have some of those photos. I lost a shit ton of photos over the years, but I used to have thousands of photos from those swing days.
Looking at all the women that are doing the swing dancing.
Well, it was refreshing, right? They finally put some clothes on.
It was different.
It was very nice. I think women's wearing attractive clothing is much better than looking like skanks.
Yeah, I would agree. And it was hearkening back to a different era, which was nice.
Absolutely. Yeah.
When music was music before AI ruined it all.
Yeah, he's bringing back swing though.
That's true. We can have our own swing band without any musical skill whatsoever.
Yeah. Well, you need some skill, but not as much as you would otherwise.
I haven't tried doing any swing music. That's probably not a bad idea for a little side project.
Mm-hmm.
The Unrelenting Swingsters.
It's all 4/4 on the floor. It's all easy stuff.
That's what you got to do. Then you just go out and be like, hey, we're a band, man.
Yeah, man.
Then somebody books you and you show up with your MacBook.
I don't think anyone would be surprised these days.
No, where's the band?
That'd be the kind of par for the course. In fact, there's one video I was watching. I sent it to Adam, and I think too. Maybe even, I don't know if, I don't think I sent it to our group, but it was shot as one single shoot. And there was this Japanese girl with a, wearing the typical Japanese miniskirt school uniform kind of look, right? Or I guess it's not a miniskirt, pleated skirt, whatever. And thigh-high tights. And then,
of course,
looking cute, but she had a MacBook kind of duct taped to her front and a couple of other things. And she's basically, while walking down the street, performing a song which is looped. So she's doing each part individually, including the singing and harmonics, and doing it while walking. And all one shoot, like one continuous shoot. So it was.
Was it real or was it AI?
Oh, it was real. It was real. I've seen her before. But that stuff is going to be less and less prevalent because.
Oh yeah.
If you don't need to perform live, why would you perform live? And I think a lot of people will just not be like, being a performer is not synonymous with being a musician.
No, and that was a bit. I've seen a lot of those videos, but it had been years when that was the trick, which is you have X amount of a recording going on and just keeps repeating and repeating. Yep. And you have to know how to hit the timing just right. That's how it works.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I remember doing that with the old 4-track.
Oh yeah,
back in the 80s, where I'd record each of the different instruments separately.
And then once you got the recording software on a computer, and you're like, wait, I could just copy and paste that over and over and over again.
Yeah, well, it's a little different.
Slightly.
Honestly, this is part of the reason I still use a Mode 2 hardware device is because I was one of the original users of the Mark of the Unicorn software on the Mac in the early 80s, which was the first MIDI software for the Mac. And Mark of the Unicorn made that. I don't remember what the actual piece of software is called, but the company was from Mark of the Unicorn, which became Mode 2. And it was the first thing I ever saw that you could quantize on. Realign all the individual notes so that they're perfectly timed. Which, of course, now they're doing the opposite. They're dequantizing to make it sound more real.
To make it sound less AI.
Yeah, right.
Well, but again, we've talked about it. There is so prevalent of the pitch tuning now on everything that this is why when somebody like Paul McCartney goes on Saturday Night Live and doesn't auto-tune, people are like, wow, he sounded horrible. It's like, no, that's how a fucking person sings. Most people, that was it. There were a few people who really had the voice, who could hit the note perfectly, but most didn't. And that is where their sound came from. And a lot of these, if you start massaging that, they don't sound like the same artist anymore. And this, I loved the concept of being able to do the stem separation when it started.
Yeah. And
I still do for my own personal uses. But now that you're getting things like a John Lennon concert that was filmed back in 1971 or whatever it was, that they're now obviously separating out the vocal and then tuning it. It's like, that's just so fucking wrong. to be releasing a live performance from 50 years ago, but then,
hey, somebody's going to buy it.
I know somebody's going to buy it and not even know, like, wow, like, but why would you even fuck with it? That's what I want to know. It's like the rawness is what made it great. You don't need to hit every tone, every little mark exactly on the line.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, that's not organic, but this also is pushing everything directly to, as you said, the AI, because the AI, that's exactly what it does.
Yeah.
By default, although now you'll be able to be like, sound more human. Okay.
Sound more human.
Right? Yeah. I mean, that's it. I mean, well, the people that think you can tell when something was written by AI text, you can't. You think you can tell when a video or a photograph was AI'd, you can't. I mean, sometimes you can.
Okay, you got to put an asterisk on.
Yes.
It's not that you can blanket say you can't. It's that if the person didn't give a shit what they put up, then you can.
Right.
But anyone that takes a little bit of time to make it not look like or sound like AI, then you can't. But plenty of people make crap with AI that they literally don't care that it sounds flat.
Yes.
There's no emotion there. And they're like, it's good enough.
Or
so,
it's
yeah,
just
for all that
totally,
stuff you can.
I mean, I saw a video the other day, 15-second, whatever it was, on X of a semi-truck that, had somebody brake check them.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts out looking like it's a dash cam.
Mm-hmm.
And then as the accident happens, the camera actually pans to where you could see the driver and out the driver's side window as
okay.
Right. So, I mean, for me, I'm like, well, that means there was a person doing this because this is not a dash cam.
Yeah.
So at the very least, it's a person or it's completely AI. But nobody even questions that.
They do have those full 360 cameras now that film in 360, and you can then pick what part of that to play back in normal.
To do that afterwards, I guess.
Yeah,
you could,
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's what it was.
Actually, that's what Tesla does that, by the way. So if you ever see a Tesla video, they basically can do full all-around video because they have 6 cameras all recording at the same time with intersecting boundaries.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We can make our music videos. Just get a Tesla.
It'll also play the music for you. I mean, it's got a music. Yeah, it's got that shit built in.
What can't Elon do for us?
You can play arcade games. You can install a whole bunch of arcade games that Elon put in there.
You can play Doom, man. You can play Doom on your car.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And why wouldn't you want to?
Yep. I think you can install that whole simulator thing that lets you play the old games.
But I like what
do they call that thing?
Oh, the emulators?
Yeah.
So you can like emulate all the old arcade games. I mean,
yeah.
It was so sad. I mean, kids, if you didn't have to live through the 1980s where you would go to the arcade, and even though you think it's a really simplistic game, you would go play Pac-Man in the arcade, and then it comes out for the Atari, and it's like disgustingly horrible.
It's way worse. Yeah. Speaking of arcades, I'm trying to decide if I should go
to an arcade.
So next week there's going to be a thing called Bar Citizen, which is a
people that are playing Star Citizen going out to drink together.
Yeah, that's literally what it is.
Which makes sense. See, the name is
you
good. You
want to see actual humans that play the game that you play. So there's going to be one of those happening in Austin. And I checked the location. It's not super convenient to me. It's a bit of a drive, but it's in an arcade. So it's a bar that's full of old stand-up video games.
Oh.
So I'm trying to decide if it's worth going to.
That could be fun. It could be,
but I don't know if I want to know any of these people in person.
It might ruin it.
It's just kind of like, Or
you're afraid they're not going to treat you like the emperor of the universe.
I know, right? Hey, man. Although I do have clothes for this event.
Okay, I do. Okay, do we ask Trolls? I mean, do we want to know is it just like a special tracksuit, or you have like an actual cosplay admiral of the Fediverse or something?
Sort of. Yeah, I've bought clothes from this game company, which is from the video game. So I guess you could kind of say it's cosplay. I really wouldn't go quite that far, because it's not like a character in the game, which is I think what cosplay is. But it's more like, here's a brand of spaceships from the game, and now we have clothes you can buy just like your BMW clothes. Will
they be trying to sell you more spaceships at the event?
I mean, no, actually they don't. I've gone to one of these before. There's usually a few people from the studio. We have a development shop for that company here in town. It's not a very big one. I think it's mostly tech support. I don't think it's mostly actually even developers. Well, you get some of those folks in. There's usually a raffle or two, and then there's a bunch of people that are fans, and then there are usually a few people that are doing, the streamers. They're like the big celebrities or the people streaming this shit.
Well, you could be one of those streamers.
Yeah, nah, the game sucks too much. You can't really do that. I can't. It's too buggy,
you spent
man.
like thousands of dollars on this game.
That doesn't matter. It's not ready for prime time. Now, I did introduce 3 brand new people this last month that I pulled into the game. And did I talk about this or not?
I don't think so. Is this like Amway or like?
Yeah, it's kind of like Amway. One of them was Ben.
Dude named that name.
Who
Ben.
got into it I think 3 times when I was in there and played around a little bit.
Well, he's not going to buy any spaceships.
Gaming computer.
He's cheap.
But no, he is super cheap, man. Yeah. My God. The Irish part of him, Ben, is fighting with the Scottish part of him, and both are trying to compete for who's the cheapest of the two.
It's a battle royale.
You get those two nationalities together, and it literally is who's going to out cheap the other.
I think the Scottish usually wins because he wears a dress a lot, doesn't he?
He does. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's true. And I keep telling him, like, dude, from the amount of bargaining hunting you're doing, I think you're an honorary Jew now too. So that's Ben. He's one of the guys, and the other 2 guys that I know from other video games that I pulled in there from a game called Elite Dangerous, which actually is a completed game without too many bugs. Works very well
and costs 1/10 of the price.
And it costs literally the last time. I think normal price is about $30. Last sale was $5. So yeah, way cheaper game. Although they also sell spaceships, so I bought all of those as well.
Well, yeah, you have to have the spaceships.
Well, you got. I mean, you can't not. And one of the guys was a guy that pulled me into a different game. Originally, he kind of got me to buy a game called Gray Zone, which is probably the most realistic military sim out there. For people that know Tarkov, think of Tarkov, but more realistic, less bullshitty. So you're playing as a private military contractor sent off to Southeast Asia to patrol an area and keep peace.
Sounds very important.
So you get to shoot a lot of the locals,
which is what the game was created for you to do.
Yeah. But it's absolutely photorealistically beautiful. And it's a game where not only do you have different guns, but every gun is disassemblable into the individual pieces that make up the gun. So I kind of lovingly referred to it as Gunsmith Simulator.
Because then you could recreate new guns?
You can, well, not new guns, but you can basically get parts. Like, if you take an M16 or an AR-15, you've got standardized parts from different brands. So you can actually get like a Daniel Defense upper and then combine that with a Colt lower or a Knight's Armaments lower, and then you put a custom barrel on there. So you can basically assemble guns from pieces, not like fantasy magical guns, but real guns that you could literally do in real life I have a lot of the parts that are in the game. I have them for it, as part of my gun collection as well.
Of course.
So it's hilarious being able to do that in the video game, but you can end up with some really interesting pieces that way. But it's photorealistic. It's beautiful. Everything works the way it's supposed to. And, it's a fun game. He got me into. I burned through a lot of time in that game. Not a whole lot of money, but a lot of time. This is that guy. So I gave him a starter spaceship for free as a gift.
That's how they get you, kids.
And that lasted about 2 days before he upgraded it to a bigger spaceship for about $120. And then he realized that he needed a fighter too. So then he went and bought a $170 fighter. And then he realized that the one he upgraded, he actually wanted something even bigger. So I sold him a $400 upgrade for that one.
I see who made out here.
And I'm like, I really am a drug dealer at this point, aren't I?
Yeah, it's going to get you some bigger, better.
Let me just give you. I'll give you a little trial. See if you like. No, don't worry, it's free. It's free.
Yeah, it's a totally cool game.
Oh, did you want something bigger? Oh, well, let's talk.
Hey, now that's what she said. Speaking of, what is the ratio, male to female, at these video game get-togethers?
What's a female?
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much. Now, there are a few girls that play this. Not a whole lot. Because I don't think most girls enjoy arguing about the benefits of one fantasy spaceship versus another.
Yeah, I don't think you understand. My quantum warp drive is bigger and better than your quantum warp drive.
How did you know? That's literally what they're called. They're quantum drives. They're not just warp drives. They're called quantum drives. Yeah,
well, you got to be. You got to be quantum, baby.
Yeah, it's called quantum, baby.
If it's that's the company.
The other thing that I've always loved about this game is they all referred to, this game is the blah, blah, blah in the universe, in the verse. They say, see you in the verse, like the universe, right?
Right.
For the longest time, for the first decade of this pre-released game that's still not out, it consisted of one solar system. I'm like, why you guys keep saying verse? There's no verse here. You got one freaking solar system with 4 planets. That's not a verse.
But one day we're going to make it bigger.
Finally, about 18 months ago, they added one more. So then there's 2. Now there are 3 solar systems. Still not a verse. Definitely not a verse. Because unlike this game, which I have a love-hate relationship with. I think it's beautiful. It's absolutely the most gorgeous space game. But in development for 14 years, still not done.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's and they've sold over $1 billion worth of it.
That is okay. Their
revenues are over $1 billion.
Geniuses.
Yeah, they're crazy like a fox.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Hey, it's pre-release, so it doesn't count as you can't complain about anything because it's still pre-release. So,
right, you're just helping us out. We'll be
literally
finished in 30, 40 years tops.
The game has been 2 years from release for the last 14 years. Amazing.
Again, I would say they're crazy, except for the fact that you just said $1 billion.
Yeah.
Has been funneled into it.
Yeah, they're making literally millions every single day. An Alien Week is about to start, so you know what that means. More sales. All the alien spaceships will be on sale.
Oh, so you can then role play as the other side.
Yeah, exactly. And alien ships cost more.
They give you a Pomulan Moorbird.
That could happen. Actually, I do have one of those. I've got 2 of those. I've got 2 spaceships that look like birds. They have a bird-like appearance to them with folding wings and everything.
Now,
less so like a Romulan warbird and more like Hawk's ship from Buck Rogers.
Oh, that thing was. Oh, yeah. What was that? Buck Rogers, and I was thinking Flash Gordon for some reason, but that was the other winged guy.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, Flash Gordon had the big dude that was the winged guy.
Now, have any of I know there have been releases, which had the intellectual property tie-in to both Star Wars and Star Trek, but did none of those games ever make it? Like, you're talking all these other space games, like you would think the obvious thing would be some kind of tie-in to a universe that people already knew, but those never seem to work.
Yeah, it's too expensive because after you spend the money on the licensing rights, you have no money left for development.
That's now you got AI.
Problem with it. So you've got you definitely have in most of these games, you have what I would describe as not knockoffs per se, but homage.
Right?
Yeah,
exactly.
Because I definitely in Elite Dangerous, my exploration ship from certain angles looks like Voyager's version of the Enterprise. It's it's a big bulbous round thing in the front with two nacelles, roughly looking, but it's still far enough away so they couldn't get sued.
Right.
But close enough from certain angles, it looks just like
inspired by, but not copying. That makes sense.
Yeah, and like Star Citizen has ships that it copied from Elite Dangerous in terms of look. Again, very much like an homage. It's different but similar looking.
And then people are like, why can't I bring my starship from one game into the other game?
Yeah. And a lot of people would love to be able to do that. I think that would be like the ultimate thing. And lately, the game I've been playing a lot more of is actually X4, which is probably one of the best time suck spaceship video games out there. And it's a single player game, which gives you a huge benefit if you think about it, because a single player game, you are in control of hitting save and quitting out of it.
Right.
All these MMO games, which Elite is an MMO, Star Citizen's an MMO, EVE Online's an MMO, all these MMO games, No Man's Sky is another one that's an MMO, they continue on. They keep going without you, right? So whether you're on or off, the game's universe keeps going. And so it's... you have that fear of missing out factor with all the MMOs. And what's why a lot of people play for 12-hour sessions. Because you're like, well, if you log off now, you'll miss the next thing that happens. So
you don't want to miss.
No, it's human nature. You never want to miss.
You want to be in the in. You want to be on the in crowd.
Yeah, and then you can make fun of all the people that miss something.
Right. You're like, you're not in the space game that I'm into.
What? Oh, you didn't see that? Oh my God. I can't believe you weren't on.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
It's all, but what's going to happen when AIs will just let you create your own space game?
Well, they're doing that. Kind of, sort of already.
Just add on.
Yeah, I think AI is actually, it's just at the very earliest stages, but it is starting to be integrated into video games. So instead of somebody having a character dialogue pre-written and the animations pre-done for the fake NPC characters you interact with in the video game, they're instead setting up AI so you can literally talk to the characters in the video game, and they will answer a lot more human and with a lot more variety than in the older video games, because they're plugged into an AI network to interpret what you're asking them and then reply accordingly. So that's one thing that's happening. The other thing that's happening is video games are we're getting to a point where like doing AI frame generation is a requirement now. It's getting there. Like for a lot of games, you have basic graphic settings in the video game. Your resolution, your amount of memory that's going to use for rendering all this stuff, your shaders, blah, 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 blah. And your video cards used to provide sort of upgraded, like you want to crank this thing up or that thing up. And in fact, they were starting to add frame generation as an option to the graphics card software itself. And for people that don't know, frame generation essentially looks at two frames that it gets out of a video game into its buffer, and then creates another frame between those two, an interpolated frame. This is something TV sets were kind of doing for a while that became less popular more recently.
Because it looks a little off. Everything
it looks a little plasticky, right?
Yeah.
But with video games, you're already running at fairly high speeds. So you're going from, let's say, 60 frames or higher, you're going to 120 frames or 180 or some other higher frame rate speed. It doesn't look too bad. The interpolation generally does not make it look too plasticky the way that it does for movies. And so game companies have started realizing that, well, hold up, most of our players have these cards, which means that our game doesn't have to run at 60. It can run at 30 frames per second. And then we'll just use the cards to interpolate, and then it'll still give them a 60 frame per second experience. And our game doesn't have to be that fast. So basically, everyone's getting lazy and not bothering to optimize any of their games, because why would I? Let just AI handle it.
Right, because AI will run the filtering on it and make everything look, which if you don't know, AI can do that easily. It's interesting. I've been taking some of the images that I created on the early end of the AI image creations. And I'm like, well, I liked it, but you could tell it was plasticky and that. Yeah. Now you throw it into ChatGPT or Grok and say, make this more photorealistic, and boom. Same thing here, I'm guessing, is that the graphics they're pushing are okay, and then the AI is making them look prettier on the fly.
Yeah, and that's the third aspect. So it's not the two things I talked about, but that is also something that is starting to come into video games, is they're letting the AI fill in the gaps that exist in the actual graphics themselves. So this is one of the characteristics that Star Citizen had that just blew me away when I first got into the game, is they model everything. And the example I like to use when new people come in is, you go to the Starship's showroom.
Oh, of course.
And it looks like a showroom, and you're walking around. There's, a
lot of babes carpeted, trying to sell you spaceships.
There's babes and shirtless dudes and
okay. See, I'd be running the other direction from the shirtless. Why aren't the babes shirtless?
The babes, they're not totally shirtless. They're still pretty skimpily dressed. But anyway, if you look down at your feet and you see the carpet that you're standing on, and then you zoom in to about 10x. You can see the individual loops of fiber in the carpet in the video game. They're literally modeling reality.
Well, right, because that's it. They want the real...
Because if you don't have every loop of fiber in the carpet in the video game, it's not real.
Well, it's amazing how the human brain will pick up any little thing that's off. So, I mean, while that may sound crazy, and it is in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But I understand why it's being done. It's the same thing again, from early AI image creation to now. Yeah. There are a lot less things that jump out like, well, that's not a real lamp, or that's not whatever. It's like has gotten to the point that people, if you're not really looking for it, which is why I say even these videos now that look really realistic, I just assume they're faked in some way, shape, or form. It's just the only way to stay sane. And I don't know if we talked about it on the last show. I don't think we did. I think it was on Planet Rage with my buddy Larry when I was talking about the new Ideogram 4, which I haven't played with yet, but watched a few videos on. It is a new image creation model that lets you break down how the image is created. So one, you could put a description in for the background. And then if you're trying to put a person into it, you actually will, like in Photoshop, very basic, just put the square or whatever size, selection where you want that person in the image. So if you're doing an image of two people, you would put them, right next to each other, or you could put them further away. You can decide where every little detail goes.
Mm-hmm.
And it showed just like a very simplistic image of a couch with a cat painting behind it, and, a few. So it was a nice little room scene. And it took that and it let an AI create the prompt and then fed it into this. And the resulting image was so much like the first one. It was crazy because you have control of every little detail. I mean, you can say exactly where you want this in the image, how large you want it, that's one of the other things I found still happens with the AI when you're creating people. If you have people next to an object, sometimes you'll have somebody by a chair and it's obvious the chair is either meant for a 4-year-old or for a giant compared to what the person is. It still doesn't necessarily get those things correct. And I saw another guy who had a great example how to explain to people that AIs don't really think. It was one of these prompts like, hey, I'm taking my car to get washed and I am, 100 feet away or something from what, was very close to the car wash. How should I get there? And all of them said, well, you're very close. Walking is the most efficient. Yeah, but I'm taking my car to
that makes sense.
But I'm taking my car to get washed. So,
just bring it in your purse, man.
Right. It just doesn't understand that context. And okay, I'm taking my car to get washed. Here's where I am. How should I get there? Well, you should walk. Well, but how do I get my car washed then? That's a good.
Yeah, but okay, but that doesn't really say the AI isn't thinking. I mean, it's not. We know that. But
yes,
because a 5-year-old kid will say the exact same thing to you.
Well, probably, but I wouldn't trust a 5-year-old kid either.
Well, you shouldn't, but it doesn't mean he's not thinking.
True. It just doesn't understand the reasoning of...
it doesn't have the full context.
Yes. And that's what AIs... you can't just... The way the large language models currently work, maybe somebody will figure out another layer to try to scrape these things out. But it's interesting, just like the early ones with, it couldn't make a clock with the time you wanted because it would trained on so many.
Everything's always, all the hands are always on 10-10.
There's a lot of things that it still just doesn't understand, which people need to realize before they start, telling it their darkest, deepest problems like, oh, should I divorce my wife? Oh, yes, I think that's a great idea.
yeah, exactly.
That's the AIs always want to make you feel better.
I mean, it might be.
It could be. It's correct.
Yeah.
But it's interesting.
So did you see, I think I forwarded to you specifically as well as the group, the article or the video rather from PewDiePie about his new AI system.
I have not watched it because
you should watch it.
PewDiePie. What? It's kind of like Asmongold. There's some people I kind of see and go, no.
Yeah, I get it. You hate millionaires. I know.
Probably.
I get it. That's what it is. That's all it is.
Which I'm surprised I'm talking to you. I mean, really, you've got so many millions. It's the one
I've spent
exception.
So many millions, but it doesn't mean I have many more.
Gene's like
I've
one of
burned through.
Right. He's like, no, holding money is bad. You make it, you spend it. You make it, you spend it.
Unfortunately, for me, it's I'm better at spending it than holding it. I remember when I was sitting with a buddy of mine here in Austin, and he just sold his company, and he was basically just fucking around for a few years. So we were sitting there over coffee and talking about all the fun stuff we've done, and and it's like, do you realize that we burned through $1 million in 5 years each?
Well, I mean, he had boats and Teslas. What more do you want to know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, all that shit adds up, apparently.
Didn't you have a Jewish accountant, Gene? I mean, come on. That's the problem.
Well, of course. What other kind of accountant can you have?
Polish.
Jewish one. I don't know if that Polish accountant would be all that good. No.
Racist.
No. That's, there's certain things. The Polish are good at maths.
What is the PewDiePie AI, though? Should I ask or do I have to watch?
The PewDiePie, you should watch it. But basically, so the short story about this guy. So 20 years ago, he started off as one of the early YouTube gamer guys. And, he's Swedish. He's got a funny sense of humor. And he was doing streaming and people liked what he was doing. And he slowly kind of, from just gaming, moved on to just doing all kinds of content. Sort of like Asmund Gold, really, like the other guy you really like a lot.
Just went into everything.
Where it's not tied to gaming. It's all kinds of, but a lot of it was just sort of making fun of internet memes kind of stuff. But the guy was the highest subscribed person on YouTube for over a decade. He had like 65 million people subscribed to him.
Back before I was watching YouTube.
Each of his videos was getting enough viewership to where his videos weren't making thousands of dollars. He could have a video make literally $1 million off one video.
That is
the guy's been set for life since his really early 30s. He's been totally set for the rest of his life.
Unless he spends money like you.
Well, he doesn't. That's the thing. He is not a money spender at all. In a lot of ways, he kind of reminds me of Adam Curry, because who's a guy that really, Adam's not a money guy. He doesn't spend money to show off on anything. He's not. I think he's too far in the other direction, frankly. Like, he resisted getting a nice car for a long time.
He owned a helicopter and a Rolls Royce.
No,
and a castle. But
okay.
There's a but to hear.
There's a lot of buts here. Used Rolls Royce, rented a castle, didn't own it. And the helicopter was a company-owned helicopter. He had several, and it was a helicopter transport company. So it was a way for him to justify getting lessons in the helicopter and being able to fly one, because it was, his company that was the one that was quote unquote using the helicopter. But he spent money, but he was making very good money. Remember, Adam was part of a very early internet marketing company that went public and did well.
Yeah, but MTV didn't cover hair product.
No, yeah, that's true. But anyway,
imagine the tax guy for that one. You spent how much? On what?
Yeah.
You said Adam never listens to the show, right?
He doesn't. He never listens. No. So there's no fear of him at all making any comments about anything here. But it's true. The guy, he's not, he's not cheap like Ben is. He just like, spending money doesn't occur to him. Like, he's not looking for a bargain, right? But he just doesn't spend money unless it's tied into some hobby of his or something.
Right, which is good.
Because I know plenty of people that will literally buy a new car every year just so that it doesn't look like they're not making money.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I do too. I haven't bought a car in 20 years.
Yeah. And my car, I'm driving a 2014 Grand Cherokee. So that's 11 years old at this point.
No Cybertruck. We never got the Cybertruck.
I never got this. Well, I canceled the Cybertruck. I had the pre-order for a long time, but I didn't get the super duper version pre-order. So my pre-order was going to ship way later. And by the time it shipped and I saw all the problems they were having, I'm like, yeah, no, not going to happen. Plus, I was kind of assuming I'd be making way more money when I put in the pre-order for that thing.
Right. You always think
which
the podcast,
I haven't been.
Like, this show was supposed to be $1 million a year venture.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. I mean, we were going to be like, we're doing video podcasts and selling merch and all kinds of things.
We're going to be big on YouTube, kids.
Big on YouTube someday.
As long as we've got the AI, we could actually just do. We should
do two guys sitting and talking.
No, Gene, we have the technology to where we could be hot babes sitting around talking. In the video.
Yeah,
portion.
but it wouldn't be believable given the topics that we're talking about.
Maybe
hot
it would.
Babes talking about going to a spaceship convention. I don't think so.
People would be like, we can't not watch this. Look, I don't understand what's going on here.
There's plenty of hot babes that are actually dudes.
Well, yeah, there's okay. One, I'm going to mark that because that's a great opener. But in the internet, I don't know how people still get catfished. It is.
I know.
It is amazing to me. But have you been watching I don't know if you ever watched. I still need to watch Yellowstone, just the regular 5 seasons.
Okay, before you get there, let's finish up with PewDiePie.
Okay. Pew,
So
pew.
the thing that he's been doing, like he got married, he had a kid, they're living in Japan. He's living anywhere in the world, but again, like he's not a kind of guy that is frivolously spending money. So for the last year, kind of like Adam fucked around with ham radio for a long time and Bitcoin and stuff, this guy has been fucking around with AI. And he wrote an AI system, whatever you want to call it, AI deal that is that lives on your own personal computer. He doesn't like the idea of his data being on other people's platforms.
I understand.
Which is ironic for a guy that, made all his money on YouTube. But
well, yeah, but there's one thing for the things you want to release, and there's the other things like, here are my tax forms. Can you tell me what I should be doing? Yeah, I wouldn't send that to Chat GPT.
So he built this, personal AI system that has an interface that looks like it's 30 years old, which I think is hilarious. It's very retro looking. But it's got all the features. It's got agents that you can program that'll read your email, check all kinds of things, and make decisions and do things based on what their data they're getting. But everything's running locally. Nothing is running in the cloud. You can still do the deep searching stuff. You could basically anything that you've read about Chat GPT doing, he's got his system doing. And it's his little fun passion project for the last year to build this thing. And the only issue with it is like he talks about it and I'm totally sold. I'm like, this is great. I want to do this. And then he said, I don't have a nicer UI before you ask. And
Vibe code.
No, there's no version for Windows or Mac. If somebody wants to make it, that's great.
It's Linux.
It's Linux. Yeah, it's pure Linux. And and he doesn't care about making it for any other platforms, but it's all presumably just sitting on GitHub, so you can take the initiative and convert it to whatever platforms. Now, this guy had, like I said, over 80 million subscribers, and I have a suspicion that a good chunk of those are developers. And so I think the future of this thing is extremely bright now that he's released it. And he said he was like trying to decide whether he should release it or not, or just use it personally. And, because he's not doing it for the money, he doesn't make anything off of this thing. But I think given the number of people that have been following him for many years, this thing is going to get expanded, and you'll have a Windows and the Mac version, and you'll have tons of extensions available. And it'll be sort of certainly not the only one, but one of the have your own personal private AI rather than something that talks to these server farms. And there is I don't want to just predict it because I could be wrong, and I don't like being wrong, but there's certainly a chance, and probably a pretty good chance, that this, along with similar systems, will start of the fall of data centers, which I believe is going to happen in the next 5 years. All the data center creation that's happening right now, the building out, all the inventory being stolen from gamers and put into AI shit, all that stuff has a limited time on it, because in the end, if you can do it yourself at home, then all the infrastructure that's built out to have other people be hosting it is going to be more expensive, and people won't use it when they don't have to use it. So all it's going to take is some custom new hardware coming from NVIDIA, which is already here. It's already been pre-released, not generally available, but it's like the reviewers have gotten copies, where it's data center level AI at home on your computer, and software like this one that he is doing.
Odysseus is
what do you call it?
It's interesting because it recommends you install it on Docker, but there is on the actual release on GitHub your way to do it on native Linux or Mac, on Apple Silicon or native Windows. So obviously something has changed in the...
that video is, I think, 2 weeks old. So something's happened in the last 2 weeks.
Requires
so maybe
PySound
somebody has converted copies. Yeah.
But this is just another way to communicate with various local models as far as I can tell. So this is just the overlay where you still need to run something like Olama or that, where you can then download whatever.
But I think it's all built in, or it's like comes with it, or self-installs, whichever way you want to describe
Possibly,
it.
yeah.
But the key point here is that it's local. It's not, you're not giving it the login to your Chat GPT. It's all made for locally run LLMs.
Right. So you have to have a local LLM running, which also then means you are limited to the hardware that you have. So if you have a Mac with 128 gig of RAM, you can run a much different model than you could with.
I kind of suspect PewDiePie's got a PC with probably 512 gigs of RAM.
Yeah, big memory, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Well, everybody's rushing to that now. More whether you can share memory between the
video. Yeah. Well, it's kind of a silly thing anyway, because the only reason that you had separate memory in PCs and video cards was because video cards wanted faster and faster and faster access. And for the most part, the rest of your PC could use it, but doesn't need to have that faster memory access. Because the limiting factor for most PCs is not the speed of the RAM. It's the CPU speed. It's the bus speed. It's everything else. So for video cards, though, the faster the better, because more processing cycles per second that way. So could you have unified memory and have it all be running at the high speed? Sure. And that's what Apple did.
Right.
But Apple also has crazy pricing for memory.
Yeah.
Getting that 128 gig Mac is like buying 3 Macs with 16 gigs.
Yeah, that's about right. I think because when I bought it, it was like 3,600, and that's refurbed.
Yeah, it's over $4,000 for something that's basically $1,000 computer.
But man, with 16 gigs of RAM. It flies, baby. And the new memory is even faster. Your Russian dude Alex on the YouTubes, it's like the M5.
I got you hooked on him,
dude. His stuff is fun, man. Just seeing all the crazy stuff he does. Well, because 1, he presents things well, and 2, he comes from exactly. While this isn't what I do now. I was a web developer. That's what I did for years. So he's coming from that same background and then going, hey, I don't know anything about this AI, but I'm willing to buy hardware and see what works.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some of it works better than others. But these,
absolutely.
These little front ends, but for people that like to do creative writing and then create your own adventure, and for the people that like to role play with computers, I was playing with a thing called Silly Tavern, which is another thing where basically it's a front end for the LLMs, for whatever large language model you want to use, but you just hook it up, and it kind of does a similar thing to what there's writing software that you pay monthly called Novel Crafter, but it's all set up to do very specific things on the AI. So Novel Crafter lets you write with AI help if you want it, of course. Will let you write a chapter, and after you write a chapter, you press one button and it will give you a summary of the chapter. So again, the AI can get this information. It tracks every time you mention a character. It lets you put in the character background. So if I want to be like, Admiral Gene, long beard, blah, 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 blah. Well, when you're writing, it will remember that character's background and everything else. This is the interesting stuff, where you're doing front ends to connect to these AIs to do very specific things, because that's way more useful than, hey, it's a big general thing, go play with it.
Yeah. But I don't quite want to call this a prediction, but I think it's a fairly high likelihood of happening, is that we are in the turning of the pendulum away from data center based tools to local tools. And this has happened multiple times back and forth in the history of computing. And I think we're once again on the way to, I just want all this shit living inside my computer so that when I take my computer with me, I don't need to be connected to use these tools.
Right.
So the only thing that remote connection is still going to be, you're still going to want it for, is essentially services like Dropbox to just mirror your disk to somewhere else so that you've got a remote copy that you can, like if yours dies or whatever. So whether it's just purely backup, like a offsite vault, or whether it's more like Dropbox where you just have access to the individual files, I think that will always persist because there is a multiple reasonable needs to have access to data. But this idea that every little tiny thing you do, from editing audio to recording audio with another person, for some reason has to go through a cloud service and cost money. No, it doesn't. You can have, your computer is powerful enough to do most of this shit locally. And the same thing with AI. I'd say the average person's computer isn't that powerful yet now.
But you're getting there.
The average gamer's computer certainly is getting there. And for anyone that has a special interest in privacy, they're going to be willing to spend a few extra bucks and ensure that their computer can do everything here. So I think this is the bucket where Odysseus falls into.
Well, yeah, because there's a ton of people working on optimizing these large language models.
Mm-hmm.
And again, if you're using them for very specific things, I can see a world where, hey, if you want to use this for music creation, well, there's this one you download. If you want to use it for something else, here you download.
Yeah.
And
there's no reason that a year from now there couldn't be a downloadable version of Suno that you run locally.
Right. Which would make sense.
It does all the same shit. It just doesn't require you to use a website.
And there are versions of not Suno itself, but there are models that are for audio creation. I haven't played with any of them because Suno is so good, but they do exist. And that makes sense again, because all they're doing is running a large language model and processing it for you. The same thing with when you go get images and videos done on Grok.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing to keep in mind. Like, you look at the speed with which Grok or ChatGPT do the processing of the data, and you're like, well, it's pretty slow.
Right.
No, it's not, because while it's doing it for you, it's doing the exact same thing for a million other people.
Right.
And so it needs a data center, not for your stuff, but for parallel doing it for everybody at the same time. If you did it yourself locally, it would be just as fast as Grok or ChatGPT is right now.
Yeah, because I know these
it's
data
only
centers,
doing it for you.
They're going up all over the place, and I can't figure out what fucking data is there. I don't understand what is being stored at
it's all AI generated data.
Well, because the reality is all of these, hard drives, we have watched the hard drive go from a few megabytes for, thousands of dollars to now, I think the higher end for some of these new drives are pushing like 40 terabytes, right?
I think you're right.
Per drive. And
I know that Ben is definitely catching this bug. I don't think he's done anything with the AI yet, but he's been pricing out some of these NVIDIA cards with 24 gigs of RAM on them.
He wants the big boy.
He wants that. And he's just told me that he's getting ready to spend $2,000 on hard drives.
Which might be one hard drive today.
Well, no. It's knowing Ben, it's going to be refurbished drives because he doesn't like buying new shit, which I would not personally ever trust refurbished shit.
I wouldn't for anything that I don't want to lose. Although to be fair, I've told you I bought refurbs, had one fail out of the 5, and they replaced it, which was hilarious.
It's just a question: do you want to go through the trouble?
Yes. But this was for just to play with a Drobo, which is still running years later.
Yeah.
And the drives have been rock solid, man. I'll just say that so they don't blow up in the thing next to me here.
Yeah.
But I don't understand like how much these data centers with how much each little bit of, hard drive space, the physical hard drives, the amount of data we're talking. I mean, I know I'm a fucking data hoarder, but I can still fit that on a little table in my basement. So who's using all this fucking data? I don't understand. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's nuts. But
you would think that, a data center that would be able to handle whatever their capacity is today, you would think in 10 years that would be 10 to 20 times or more just due to the technology increasing.
For sure. But the point I think is that we're seeing artificial price increases, not because they're even using that much, but because there's so many currently being built data centers. Like right now, I know several people that are on multi-billion-dollar projects for building new data centers.
Yes.
So each of those data centers, as the physical building is getting built, is also doing deals with hard drive manufacturers because they're going to order, 86,000 hard drives.
Yeah, a lot of hard drives.
They're doing deals with memory manufacturers for each of the memory sticks for their data. Like they're buying all the shit, or at least ordering all the shit, a year before the data center building is even finished. Because they don't, then they won't have it operational for 5 years.
Right, you're gonna have a big empty building.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to order this shit all in parallel while it's being built, which tightens the supply loop because, the next batch of 6 months worth of memory is pre-sold. Can't sell it to anyone else. It's already been paid for, So that's what we're running into, is an artificial bubble created by future data centers. And what I think is a high likelihood of happening is they're going to be operational for 2 or 3 years at their capacity. And within 2 or 3 years, the shift will be to local LLMs, all local AI shit, local apps. It's swinging back that direction. We went from having shared computing environments to having what's PC stand for? Personal computer.
Yes.
Yeah. And so I think people are getting sick of monthly fees. People are getting sick of paying for shit they don't use. And while it seemed like so useful that something's a website that doesn't matter which computer you access it on or your phone or anything, it works. Well, guess what? You can have that same exact functionality in your own house without having to go outside, because your computer can talk to your tablet and your computer can talk to your phone just as easily as a website can talk to your computer or phone.
Well, the people that are going to be left, I think, with the ChatGPT kind of subscriptions are going to be the hobbyists who don't want to spend money on a rig, even though that's going to get cheaper. But I totally see businesses that are doing this. Like, why would I keep investing monthly fees with these folks?
Yeah.
When you can just put money into hardware, and it's not crazy hardware for most businesses.
Well, it depends on the size of the business, right? Because a lot of businesses have their own data centers. So they're essentially already doing it by having their own private data centers.
Right. Then you certainly don't need they're
not paying for third-party stuff.
But even if you have a small business and you're running, you want this to do your, I had to reschedule an appointment. I don't know if I mentioned this last week with the retina guy, because he's going to be on vacation. So they left a message. And when I called back, it tried putting me into an AI to reschedule it.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is where it's going to get, but you can run that locally. I guarantee you that could be run on a Mac Studio, the system in the office. So
I saw a demo that somebody did of an AI website that takes care of doing sort of the kind of stuff we all hate to do, like calling and being on hold, waiting for your doctor.
Right.
To reschedule your eye thing, right? So this AI apparently does this. So you tell it what you need it to do. I need you to call my eye doctor and reschedule my appointment. and it will actually do it. So now the shoe's on the other foot, baby.
Right. Well, it's
so
great.
The doctor's talking to the AI, not you. So it'll call and communicate with the doctor's AI.
Right.
And then get a person, and then your AI will talk to the person in real time and explain to them what you need done. And one of the other tasks they had to do was negotiate a price reduction for internet service.
Oh, I saw that. Somebody did a video.
You did see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a video. And so the system, called up the other company, talked to them, and then managed to get like a 30% reduction in monthly cost for the internet service. Because it can literally be on this phone line with multiple companies at the same time and seeing in real time while it's talking to one, saying, well, I just got an offer for this much from AT&T. Would you like to match it right now or not?
Right. Which is why if you and I, there's an exit strategy. You create the AI to do that. And nobody wants to do this themselves, but then somebody gives you a one-time fee or a subscription and like, well, okay, I'm with Xfinity, AT&T, this, Netflix, whatever. Can you go through, and the AI will go through and try to get better deals on everything. I had to deal that with Xfinity for my parents. And I will say, I've mentioned in the past, go to the Xfinity people on X no longer. Do not even talk to the people on X that are the Comcast Cares or whatever it is. They're obviously from a third world country, and their only job is to get you to spend more. Because I've had them literally say, hey, what are you mad about? You're getting a good deal already. And like, fuck you. Like, fuck you. I mean, I've got fiber people calling me, man. So, okay. By October, you'll see how much my bill is. Zero. But my parents went up. They were on a promo. I get it. Their promo went up from, I think it was like $35-$40 to $95.
Wow.
I'm like, holy shit, I'm paying $100 for gig, and they're not even on gig. They're on like two levels below.
Yeah.
So I called up and I'm like, look, you're advertising gig for 5 years for $50. I was like, well, we don't have that for existing customers. I'm like, that's the worst customer service I've ever heard.
So you don't want existing customers at all, and then it sounds
right. I can't believe that. And I'm like, well, what's the cheapest you can do? I'm like, because my parents barely use it. And while they don't have many choices, I can go get a fucking Verizon thing and stick it in their window, and it'll be fine for them. Yeah. And then they're like, oh, we can get you back down to the $35.
Hey, so speaking of that, I'm still paying the promo rate prices 10 years later on AT&T, which I would expect.
Oh, yeah, you got to be on the promo.
Yeah, yeah. So it's, the promo never went anywhere. I think it's $60 for a gig.
The promo never ends.
And they included HBO. So I've had HBO for a decade for basically free for signing up for internet.
And is there anything even decent on HBO? No.
Yeah. There's of all the different channels, that's probably one of the better ones.
Ever since Entourage has been off, it's really no good.
Really? Yeah. There's quite a bit of good stuff in there. But the one that I'm really starting to think about, though, is Prime, because their regular Prime now became Prime with commercials.
For something, or is it all the video?
Some things is too much.
Because the only thing I watch it for is NASCAR.
More for the no commercials.
Yeah.
Which is, okay, I get why they're doing it, because they think they can get away with it, but that's not been the way it was. So it's making me reevaluate whether I need to bother having Prime at all.
Depends how many things you order from Prime as far as getting delivery.
Yes, but I think a decoupled Prime is going to be the way to go. Because they give you and you get video for free as part of it. And then next year the price goes up $20, and then next year the price goes up another $20. And now you're like, well, yeah, but I don't want the video shit. Why am I now paying more for shipping for 2 years in a row when I don't ship more products, and you guys are using less packaging? I don't know if you've noticed.
Yeah.
Most of your stuff from Amazon comes in a little brown bag now.
Yep.
There's no padding. There's nothing. There's no box with peanuts like there used to be. We always wondered, like, how can they spend the money on that? Well, They're not spending any money anymore. It's just whatever it is just wrapped in a brown paper bag.
The way porn used to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Just shows up on your doorstep.
I don't know, man. I just I think a lot of these services are going to get reevaluated, and we're at the point where internet-based video services, cost-wise, are comparable to where cable used to be. And everyone wants their piece of the pie.
Yes.
Like, Hulu, $26. Prime, $130. Yes, you get free shipping with that too. But still,
I just want to mention,
I don't think you can get Prime Video for less than that.
Hallmark Plus was on sale for $49.99 for a year.
For a year. Okay, well, that's pretty cheap, but you get what you pay for.
Every month, if you want to create a custom card, you go into their system.
My God, you're such a shill.
It creates the custom card. And this was great because for people that have done big donations on other shows, I even send out thank you cards that are all branded. But it's $5 normally if you want to do that. But they include one of those a month for free. So there, you're technically getting $60 in cards for
$40.
The $40. And they give you like money off. There's coupons every month. So you're actually getting paid. Where most of these other ones, you just bend over.
Because it's literally a commercial. You're paying for a commercial.
Yeah.
One long-ass commercial every year.
And we have a Hallmark store walking distance from here. So my wife will take all the coupons, go over there, and be, give me my stuff. Give me my stuff. We aren't really rich from this show, but we have a few people to thank. We are value-based or something. I said HBO or Hallmark is great, but HBO sucks. I am drunk. Net. That's why I said that. Kevin Seifert came in with $5. That's monthly. Mark Coulter came in with $3.33. That's Showly. Is that a word?
Yeah.
Scott Codswallop with his $2.50. Showly. Also, thank you to them three. And of course, CSB, who came in with $3.33 as of the time of the sats coming in. And he keeps telling me not to search on YouTube for AI Arch Wizard channel. Already 39 videos there, and subscribe. So yeah.
Bitcoin's at 63.8 right now.
It's up a little
bit. I'm still going to say if it hits 59, start buying.
Just go over to unrelenting.show/donate and donate if you want to keep this show going through the summer and beyond.
Yeah, man. I mean, we got to live on something.
Gene cannot use this. What today's donations are not going to pay for Gene's streaming bills.
No, not at all.
And speaking of that, were you a Yellowstone guy? Did you watch Yellowstone? I think you did.
I watched. Ironically, I never watched Yellowstone. I watched all of the after Yellowstone spinoffs.
Okay, how is that possible? Because that's exactly what we've done so far.
Really?
Yes.
That's what I've watched all the spinoffs. Never watched Yellowstone.
Now, the latest spinoff is actually a continuation of characters from Yellowstone. It's called Dutton Ranch.
Okay, I've seen the ad for it. I haven't watched it yet.
Okay, so you have to watch Dutton Ranch, and then
is it set in modern time?
It is.
Okay.
And because Taylor Sheridan is Taylor Sheridan, there is a blonde smoke show, of course, in this one as well, which I think even blows away Billy Bob's daughter.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That's hard to believe.
I'm sure you probably can pull up a trailer for that. And it's like, it was just like, whoa. And I don't want to jump the shark. There's a question I would have. So don't do any research on.
Okay.
Because I was like, whoa, I know I've seen her somewhere before.
Huh.
Not here, though. Not in my house.
What's her name? What's the character's name?
Oriana. It starts with an O. Oriana. It's very.
And the show is what?
The show is Dutton Ranch.
Oh, okay.
The actress is Natalie Lind. And this guy, I love the Taylor Sheridan concept.
Lynn.
Yeah. The character is find a couple of hot blondes, make TV shows.
Oh, yeah. This is the standard current Hollywood blonde model for country blonde model.
Yes. Which means there's nothing wrong with country girls.
Got that shaped face. Like they always use chicks that look like this whenever they want to have a country girl in a show.
Kind of has that young Miranda Lambert look.
They're kind of cheeky. You know what I mean? Like they're all fake blonde, but their faces are a little more not chubby at all, just more cheekbone.
Yes, there is a little rounder. Yes, there is a different.
You wouldn't see a chick like this starring in the show set in New York.
Probably not. No,
going to be a brunette, and she's going to have a longer looking face.
Yeah, like the sad one, like what's her name from Anne
Sex
Hathaway?
In the City, not that bad.
No,
yeah. I thought you were thinking of Carrie
Russell from Felicity.
No, not her.
Didn't you? Well, Felicity was a decent show back in the day.
The chick that played Carrie on Sex in the City, because she's got a really long face.
Yeah,
I can't remember the actress's name.
I know who you're talking about, but I don't.
Yeah, kind of a horse face.
I've never watched Sex in the City.
So this chick has the same look as the first season of what's that anti-superhero show, The Boys. The first season of The Boys, the main character superheroine chick, same model.
I never saw The Boys. Do I need to see The Boys?
The Boys. Yes, it's one of those shows that stays good for about 2/3 of the show, and then the last season just sucks. But this happens to everything. Battlestar Galactica was that way. A lot of shows are that way. Where the last season, I mean, the worst one probably being the George R.R. Martin one with the hell, I'm blanking out on the show name.
I don't know.
George R.R. Martin, the guy that wrote the show that everybody watched, Game of Thrones. Last show of the Game of Thrones the last season was horrible.
Yeah, I've never watched a episode of the Game of Thrones either.
That's a good show. That is a good show. I'd say it's a show you should watch in the winter.
Oh, okay.
Because it's kind of show you want to get cozy and under a blanket and then just binge watch it.
Make some popcorn.
No, I don't know about that, but definitely you're going to want to be under a blanket because most of the show takes place in basically Canada. I mean, not actual Canada, but it's cold. There is no summer. Everything's just fall, winter, and spring. And so, everybody's just cold all the time. That kind of show. There's just a couple of little areas where it's warm, but for the most part, it's cold. But also, same model actress, first season. Oh, actually, the entire series of Heroes. You watch the show Heroes?
Oh yeah, Hayden Panettiere. Yeah, that's
Save the cheerleader, save the world.
Yes.
Same model actress.
Yeah,
that's the look for the pure of heart country girl.
I would agree. Well, that's exactly why Hayden Panettiere was then in what was the name of that country show? Nashville. They just called Nashville, so it was
yeah.
Is the country music singer.
But I think she was better in Heroes because she was younger.
Well, I mean, we know your theory on women, Gene.
My theory. It's just not in the theory. It's just reality.
Nam says Isabel May, the one that was in the 1883 was still hotter. I'm like, I don't know. She was cute.
She was pretty hot.
Hot. And I'm not going to disagree, but in the Dutton Ranch, it's the attitude and actions of the girl, too, that you're just like, whoa. I mean, again, very Billy Bob Thornton daughter on Multiplied.
Billy Bob Thornton daughter is dangerous, man.
It's the kind of danger we like.
It's the dangerous kind of danger that you end up
paying half your shit for.
Yeah, exactly. And in prison. She's
wait, what?
She is doesn't matter how old she is playing a sexy teenager.
I see.
And that's the dangerous part there, because all men, I don't care who you are, and this includes gay men, are susceptible to an attractive, horny teenage girl. You physically have to restrain yourself from acting on anything because it's just morally wrong. But visually speaking, our brains as males are programmed to react the strongest to somebody that is the most fertile. And for the vast majority of human history, women live till about 30. And
So
they can start having babies at 14.
You need to get right on in there.
That's the way our brains are built. If you don't, one of two things is going to happen. Either somebody else will, or she's going to be dead.
You got to get in there. You got to strike while the iron is hot.
That's the way that we're programmed. So, this is, I think, part of the issue with the all the rapes going on in the UK with the Muslims is they just don't have that filter. They lack that moral conscious filter that says, I want this, but it's wrong. And they just go for it.
Well, that's what happens when you bring cultures with completely different ways of looking at things together. And
well, it's when you bring a culture that doesn't have that filter together with the opportunity to actually engage in that type of behavior.
Well, you're seeing that
in their culture. In their culture, they're not going to rape somebody's girl, somebody's daughter, because the punishment for that is going to be not from the government, but from the father of the girl, and it's going to be swift.
Frontier justice, baby.
They know in the UK, no one is going to do that.
Oh, the government will protect us.
And the government will protect them from the father of the girl. Yeah.
We were seeing that here. I mean, in the United States.
Yeah, we kind of are.
You know, the case of the kid Carmelo Anthony that stabbed the kid to death at the track meet.
Yeah.
And the people that were going crazy about this, I'm like, he admitted that he did it. What did you expect? That he was going to get off without any jail time?
I'm shocked he didn't get a death penalty.
No, I am too. Because if it were the other way around, I don't want to sound racist, but that's what everybody says.
Oh, cities be burning right now if it was the other way around.
Right?
Some white kid kills a black student.
Yep.
Clearly a young man with his whole life of success could have been the president of the United States ahead of him.
Yep.
And this white kid kills him. Of course that wouldn't go over. No, cities burn.
It is insane that we have people like Jasmine Crockett who have been elected. I know she's an idiot.
Not for long.
No.
Yeah.
But when you come out and stoke these kind of racist things that are obviously
because they're racist.
That seems to be without questioning at this point. They see the world in such a way. I don't think there's a question. This is the
problem with the whole generation growing up on Louis Farrakhan. Is that their goal is not, unlike Martin Luther King, to be in a colorblind world. Their goal is to win a fight as a minority by making the majority bend to their will. And then to use every means possible to achieve that. That is Farrakhan thinking.
Yeah, well, you're seeing this also.
All the race baiters.
You know, there was a video of a black woman. Again, I don't believe most of these things. I think this was legit. You know, was pulled over for speeding. All she had to do was sign the ticket. She was with somebody else in the car. I think her kid. And she was one of these, nope, not going to take it. Nope, not going to take it. You know, fuck you, not doing it. I don't have to do that. And the cop tells her to get out of the car and she doesn't. And then you can't put your hands on me. It's like, you don't understand the law, lady.
No.
You know, this whole, like, I can not follow the law and then pretend that, no, you can't touch me. It's like, yeah, they can. They can touch you. They can touch me. They can touch any fucking person they want. If you don't like it, leave the country. This concept that you could flout the law or whatever it is, and I'm not saying the law is always right, but when you're like, nope, I can do something or not do something, and there's nothing you can do to me about it. Like, well, that's not how a civilized society works.
Yeah.
You know,
you should listen to the last Just Two Good Old Boys, because we talked about this topic for an hour.
You and dude named Ben. Did he pick up lunch?
That's the one. Did he pick up lunch?
Yeah.
No.
He made you pay.
Yeah, I got my salad, dude. That's what I'm telling you. I was having leftovers.
Oh, right. The Caesar
That
salad.
was yesterday. Yeah.
Bring that right back around.
Caesar salad. But we talked about this whole topic for an hour. Because
well, you are in Texas, I guess.
We are. Yeah. But also, Ben. So I'll just give you the super brief synopsis because we got like 3 minutes here. But basically, his position was, we're getting to the point where violent response is going to have to become the norm because the government's not doing anything about it, about all the bad actors. And my point was, you can't have a violent response unless you've exercised every other option first.
Right.
Unless you're saying that society itself is the thing that is now missing. So the social contract that we have with each other as Americans, part of that contract is that we will refrain from doing certain things like vigilantism.
Right.
And we will instead transfer that function to the government body to do on our behalf, as long as we're acting in accordance with the rules of society. And when somebody breaks those rules, then the part of society, the government that we've created, will deal with those people. So I think that there is absolutely a point that you can get to where you're justified in using violence, but you have to admit that point comes after you're willing to say that there is no longer a society here. Like, we are no longer a country. If we're just a bunch of individuals that are not at all connected with each other, that everybody's ignoring societal constraints, well, then, of course, you got to defend yourself. You got to defend your family.
Right.
Of course. But are we at that point right now? And I don't think we are. And a good indicator of that is just how few violent interactions people have for the amount of population that we have. A lot of people are flapping their gums. A lot fewer people are using violence.
Yeah, and somebody's way more likely to get in your face and yell, but that line of committing a physical act, yes, still way less prevalent.
Yeah.
And
if you're in a location like, let's say, Chicago or New York or LA, where there's a much higher precedence for that kind of violence, at least that I'm aware of, there's nobody preventing you from moving from there. It's inconvenient. You're going to have to find a different job. You're going to have to find different housing. You're going to lose your friends that are local. But it's not like there's a government restriction on you moving the way that there was in the Soviet Union.
Right. You can go wherever the hell you want in the United States.
Right. Yeah. So
this is why people move around other people that are like-minded.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the goal, is that if you don't like the minds of the people around you, then move to where people are going to be like-minded. And the examples I used was, my family moved from Russia to the U.S. for that same reason. More like-minded here than there. Ben's family moved to Idaho for that same reason, because,
they liked hoes.
They like compounds. So.
Wow.
And sawed-off shotguns and compounds.
Well, who doesn't like sawed-off shotguns?
I know, right? Especially these days where you can get one for free.
You just go, boom. What do you just go down to the local Piggly Wiggly?
Well, no, yeah, exactly. The Piggly Wigglies. No, because the whole thing was, remember, anybody could make a short-barrel shotgun. It was never illegal. It just had a $200 tax stamp registration you had to fill out. And so all these people, including the Branch Davidians and the guy up, Randy Weaver up there, all these guys got in trouble not for making sawed-off shotguns,
but not for paying the government.
For not paying the taxes on the sawed-off shotguns. Exactly. All they had to do was fill out the paperwork, pay their $200, and then no one can go after them.
Pay your taxes.
Now that $200 amount has been reduced to zero. So now it's literally, if you can have a sawed-off shotgun tomorrow for free. If you take one of your existing shotguns and cut it off, but you still have to file the paperwork. And a lot of people don't like the idea of the government having their information about them having a sawed-off shotgun, even though it's legal and free.
Right. Well, yeah, because that's you're going to be on a list.
Right. So well, guess what, dude? You're already on the list. Okay. You don't need to think that, I'm not currently on. No, I guarantee you're already on the list.
I know 4 out of 5 listeners of this show have a 3-letter agency title.
Dude, just because you're in one 3-letter agency doesn't mean that you're not on the list for another 3-letter agency.
True. I hope they're all sharing
Absolutely. Notes. No. They all yes, we have the pretend fusion centers where they can pretend to share information with each other. But realistically, the FBI loves picking up other agency personnel for having done something wrong. It's a little friendly competition. Putting
your friends and relatives into jail.
Damn straight. Exactly.
Well,
just remember, who goes into the job, into the profession of arresting people?
I don't know.
Well, people that aren't very good at being criminals, with the same mindset. If you're bad at being a criminal, if you're going to get caught as a criminal, but you have the same mindset, you're going to end up being a cop.
Maybe.
They scored exactly the same on personality profile tests.
Ooh. I've never taken one.
Well, that says something about you.
What's it say about my personality?
Exactly.
Was that?
I've taken a whole ton of them. I really enjoy them, actually. I take them for fun.
And you've scored all over the spectrum. Now, can you actually
Yeah, because the goal is to score. Exactly. That is the ultimate gamification of these things is today I'm going to be not just a psychopath, but also a sociopath.
And where's that going to get you hired? Washington.
Yeah, well, right. Exactly.
So it all works out.
Well, that's the thing. Is so if you wanna work in the CIA, you have to have certain psychopathic traits, and if you have too many of them, then they won't take you. Though, at least that's what was explained to me.
So you have to hit right in that butter zone.
You have to be just enough of a psychopath, but not too much.
That's great if you could take the test for like 4 different jobs and just get 4 different scores based upon the company knowing like what they're looking for.
There was an app, I can't remember what it was, but it was an app that did like, it did a bunch of testing, psych profiles, and then IQ testing. And then there's a bunch of tests that it had on there. A friend of mine sent to me and with his scores. So of course I have to do better. So
is there better?
There's always better. So I ended up going through and taking each of the tests until I got a perfect score. And these are things like we're going to flash 3 images on the screen at the same time for 1/16 of a second. And you have to show what the differences are between them.
Well, I'd be screwed on that one.
You would be screwed. I was actually really good on that. I have a special skill in that. But so they have all these tests, and I think they had like 10 or 12 of them. And there was one that I just could not get a perfect score on.
And that annoyed you.
Which was also fast moving, and you had to it's sort of, I can't remember exactly, this years ago, but it was sort of Tetris-like where you had to click things on a certain time to get a row off screen or something like that. And I just did it over and over, and it just could not get a perfect score.
Was there a possibility of a perfect score, or was it just a fuck game in your
everyone has it. You can do a perfect score and everything. So I set up a high-speed video camera recording the screen as I'm playing it, and then playing it back in slow motion. You could see that I was clicking on the right thing, but the wrong thing was getting tracked. So I sent an email to the company. And,
so you were a very angry Karen.
Well, because
I've been
I
taking
found a
your
mistake.
psychiatrist test, and you are screwing me out of a perfect score.
Your IQ test is clearly inferior unless this was a trick question meant to uncover extremely smart people like me.
Who would find that it was not registering correctly?
Yeah, it was. So I literally found a mistake in an IQ test program, notified them about it. And of course, at first they're like, well, no, it's impossible. Well, it's possible. Let me send you video proof.
Yes, let me show you my ultra slowed down video motion.
Yeah, exactly. And so I sent it to them. And then I got a call back a couple days later. It's like, yeah, looks like they found the bug that was causing that. Thanks for bringing that to our attention. And they sent me a T-shirt as a thank you.
Wow, a whole T-shirt. Do you still have it? Do you still wear it? Is it a size small?
No, it was always a size small. Yes, exactly. I've never worn it. But it was one of those things that then I can flaunt to my buddy. Oh, you got a good score on this? Oh, that's nice. I found the mistake in the test.
It's that humble brag.
It's the most humblest brag, and I love being humble.
It's unrelenting.